in. Speak, Jesse.
Testing.
Speak to your guests. Just tell them we're coming on. There's 30 people, 268 on right now.
Hello. We are live at today's REC Investors Marketplace. I wanted to start off by saying Happy New Year. We are expecting a little over 1,100 people today. That tells me that a lot of people are interested in investing into real estate. I gotta say, first and foremost, a massive thank you to the team behind the scenes. I get to be the good-looking guy in front of the camera, but none of this happens. None of this happens without the team behind the cameras. I'm gonna start off with someone that you guys all really know by now. He's always controlling the ones and twos behind the camera, Mr. Steven Rochester. He's our creative director, but also head of our media department. I gotta say a big shout out to Tyler Ty Walburn, the REC investor coach. Also, I wanna say welcome back to our VP, Laura Stewart. She was away for a little bit and she's back. And obviously a big shout out to my co-founder and business partner. I still think I'm the better looking partner. You guys can always make that decision. Mr. Simeon Papa Elias, our director of team operations, Bobby Pume, and all of our 54 real estate agents that have been with us now for coming up to 17 years. But I would be remiss if I didn't thank you guys. You could have been anywhere today, but you took the time to not only register, but then actually come on to the investor marketplace. And so what is the REC Investors Marketplace? It truly is a one-of-a-kind event. This is today it's going down where you, if you're watching or listening right now, are gonna have the opportunity not only to invest in one real estate investment strategy, not two, not three, but 4 investment opportunities. And it's not going to matter what type of strategy you're looking for. And what do I mean by that? Well, if you're someone who's thinking about a high cash flowing investment, I got something for you today. If you're looking for something that's more passive, I got 4 investment opportunities for you today. If you're looking for something where you can invest your RRSPs, your RESPs, your TFSAs, I got something for you. If you're looking for something with a predetermined exit strategy, something that's gonna make you feel good in terms of providing housing, I got something for you today. The last time we did an REC Investors Marketplace was October 2021, so not too long ago. And that day, in 1 hour, okay, we had 3 opportunities, so very similar to today. This is gonna go on for 1 hour, but that day, back in October of 2021, there was a little over $73 million initiated that day alone. So what is the goal? What is the target today? The target's gonna be to try to initiate $100 million of real estate. See, as brokers, we are gonna make money as well. That is for our service. However, the people who invested back in October of 2021 made a lot of money in creating wealth and growing their investment portfolio. See, I do a lot of educational content on all the platforms. I got a podcast on Instagram, on TikTok, I'm all over the place. And I do approximately 10 to 12 pieces of content that are all based on educational content. In fact, if you're new to our world, and because I know out of the 1,109 people, my team just gave me the final number, out of the 1,109 people, there's over 400 people that are new to our world. So that excites me. So if you have not yet started to get some of the short form content that I do, I implore you, if you're watching on your computer, pick up your phone. If you're watching on your phone, pick up your computer, your laptop, a different device, and go check out some of the educational content that I put out on a daily basis. I want you to go directly to Instagram.com/JazzTackR13. Number 13, it's my lucky number. Tyler is actually in the comments section. I'm sure he's already going back and forth. Like I mentioned, a lot of you guys know him. He'll actually throw that link in there. I want you to get the educational content. But today's event, this marketplace, I can't say it any more direct than I'm about to say it to you now. Today is for people who are going to take action. Today, you're going to have that opportunity to invest into 1, 2, 3, 4. I know a lot of the people that are watching today, and 70% of people that already know us are multiple transaction people, meaning that they invest with us on a regular basis. I know they're going to be looking at all 4 and possibly wanting to invest into all 4 of them. You're going to be able to get the information today, but for 2 of the 4 properties, it's very, very time sensitive. And I'm going to go through that with you. I'm going to let you know where you can get all the package, all the collateral, the brochures, the performas, but also the reservation forms that allow you to tie up the property. See, there's a reason I'm wearing this sweater today, RFA. It stands for Ready, Fire, Aim. Now, I know that swings around with a lot of people because, we were grown up and told, look before you leap. Don't pull the trigger until you have your target all lined up. But in real estate, you're able to actually take action, meaning tie up property and then do the due diligence. Check off on the T's and the I's, dot all the I's, cross all the T's, speak with your mortgage advisors, speak with your real estate lawyers, all of whom I'm going to actually be able to put you in touch with. My team is standing by to put you in touch with not only the 4 people that you're going to be hearing from today, but also any of the other service providers that you might need, i.e. a real estate lawyer, mortgage broker, insurance brokers. We have it all lined up for you. So we're going to start today's conversation with Clint Rogers. Okay, and we're going to be speaking about a real estate investment trust that you can invest in a very, very passive way. Team, is Clint ready to rock? Can we bring him on right now? We're gonna be speaking with Clint Rogers. After that, we're gonna be speaking with Jeff Bellinger about rent to own. That's that predetermined exit strategy I spoke about. Then we're gonna be speaking with a very, very good friend of the REC, Hunter Milbourne, who's the dean of condos. He essentially brought condo living to the city of Toronto. We're going to be speaking about a pre-construction project that's happening in Hamilton. And then lastly, we're going to be flying over virtually to Orlando, Florida, to meet another good friend of the REC, Dawood. And we're going to be speaking about a turnkey cash flowing opportunity in Orlando that, again, is very time sensitive. Those 2 last opportunities, the one with Hunter Milbourne and the one with Dawood, is going to be very, very time sensitive. But I want to start off with a good friend of ours, Clint Rogers, and let's speak about this first opportunity. Now, guys and gals, before I bring Clint on, and Stephen, I'm more than happy to have him on the screen right now, but I did want to reiterate, today, you're going to have the ability to invest in all 4 opportunities, get the education, put your hand up, learn more, but let's not forget that real wealth is created in real estate, not only in the long term, but it gets started with actually taking action. Today is a day that you're in the marketplace. You need to take action to create wealth. You guys know I'm not a pushy salesperson, neither is my business partner, neither is anyone on my team, but I hope you feel the passion. I hope I'm coming through to your screen right now because I know that real wealth in real estate is created only by taking action. Clint, how are you doing today?
I'm doing excellent, Jazz. Thank you for inviting me out. I'm looking forward to the opportunity to introduce myself, Access Capital, and Centurion Asset Management.
Hey, Clint, I got to start off by saying, man, you're making me look bad with the dress shirt and the tie and the vest, and I got my sweater on, but that's how I roll. But I like how you roll as well. Clint, you mentioned Access Capital, okay? You mentioned Access Capital. Who is Access Capital, and what do you do there?
Yeah, great question. So Access Capital is an investment fund manager, restricted portfolio manager to real estate and debt, and an exempt market dealer. So to sum that up, our job is to do due diligence on private real estate investment firms and alternative investment firms to bring forward a good quality product for our friends, family, and clients alike here today to invest into.
Awesome. I love that. And again, for everybody who's watching and listening right now, we're going to have a conversation. Each person that I bring on, someone like Clint, we're going to go for no longer than 15 minutes, which is hard for me, guys. You guys know me long enough. I like the sound of my own voice sometimes. So I'm going to try to keep this very, very tight. I've asked all my friends today to keep the conversation tight. What is the investment? What are some of maybe the risks involved? What are the minimum investments required, along with what is the return? If I give you $1, if I invest $1, what is going to be my return? We're going to keep all that in 15 minutes for each person. And then at the end of it, I'm going to let you know where you can go to get more detailed information, along with the ability to sit down and speak with someone like Clint. So Clint, you gave us the Reader's Digest version on Access Capital. How does an investor get involved with your service?
Absolutely. Well, first and foremost, they would reach out to a registered dealing representative, so someone like myself, and we would have a sit down and get to know what the client is looking for, what they're after. Are they using RSPs, TFSAs, looking for tax advantages, income? Once we determine that, we can look at specific products, conduct what's called a KYC, a Know Your Client form, and try to match up suitable products to help them diversify their portfolio.
Okay, so now what is the opportunity that we want to touch on today? I'm going to let you kind of take the floor in what are my clients, what are my viewers, what are the REC Nation going to be able to invest in after they start to, they start the conversation with you, you do the KYC, you figure it out. Okay, they say I want to invest 35, 40, 50, 150, $200,000 through my RSPs, for example. What is the actual investment?
Yeah, so this evening we're going to be talking about Centurion Asset Management, and specifically speaking, their apartment REIT. So this is a apartment REIT with over 14,000 units, valued at over $4.2 billion, rates straight across Canada and down into the US.
Now that is, and what's the minimum investment required?
In Centurion, it's a $25,000 minimum. And again, it is RSP, TFSA eligible, or obviously for non-registered money as well.
Okay, so for everybody who's listening right now, I get a lot of DMs from a lot of people on a regular basis and emails and saying, I can't invest into real estate, Jazz. I only have $32,000. I only have $40,000. I can't buy anything. Well, there's a lot of ways to get in to investing into real estate. And as Clint mentioned, I mean, the minimum requirement for this investment is $25,000. You said Centurion. Who is that? Talk to me about Centurion and how the investor actually makes money.
Absolutely. So what an investor does is they choose an investment, whether it be cash or registered funds. It's a passive investment, again, into multifamily and student housing rentals across the country. And they invest into a limited partnership through a Canadian mutual fund trust, in which case they don't have to take on any of the liability, but they get to reap all the rewards. Those rewards being consistent monthly distributions, right now in the tune of about 4.07% per annum paid monthly. In addition to the cash distributions, you'll see appreciation in the net asset value of your portfolio. And in that case, the targeted return is 7 to 12% net of fees. And I'm happy to say that since inception, Centurion has averaged just shy of 13% compounded annually as of 2009.
So I invest $100,000. And so what does Centurion do with that? I know you mentioned it a little bit, but I didn't want to get it, like, I don't want that to go over people's head. I really want to speak about a real estate investment trust in general, right? Like, we've heard these words and a lot of people have, and some people maybe even Googled it and YouTubed it. But guys, we have Clint here and my other three guests as well today, along with Clint. I want you to know we've done the due diligence as REC Canada. We've already done the due diligence on not only Clint himself and the speakers that we're going to be bringing on, but the actual investment that we're going to be talking about. So going back to my question for a second, Clint, client investor wants to put in $100,000 into Centurion. What are they doing with that money?
Yeah, absolutely. So Centurion's using that to continue to build their portfolio. So we've got about $1.5 billion worth of development opportunities in our pipeline, where we actually own anywhere from 35 to 100% with our development partners. As we continue to build these portfolios, bring them to marketplace, we will then look to stabilize the rents and continue to push forward the cash flow through distributions. So it's a combination of multifamily residential apartment rentals, student housing rentals, and a few developments and mortgage lending through some of our key partners across Canada and into the US.
Now, I always like to, so you did mention some of the targeted annual returns, but we have more and more people coming on. I mean, as I mentioned, we're getting very close to the 1,109 people that I'm proud to say that actually registered for today's event. But I know what happens. Not everybody comes on exactly at 7 o'clock. So I have some people coming on. For anybody who's just joining us right now, I'm sitting down with Clint Rogers from Access Capital, and we're talking about a real estate investment trust that you can actually use your RRSPs, TFSAs, RESPs to invest into real estate with as little as $25,000. What's some of the, can you go over the returns? You mentioned that you can actually get it paid monthly as well. You get it paid out to you as an investor monthly, but what's some of the returns again? I want you to go over that again. If you don't mind, go over it a little slowly as well, because I really want people to get a very, very deep understanding of what they're investing and what their returns are.
Absolutely. And can I share my screen? Are you seeing that?
100%, buddy. I see it myself. And yes, why don't you talk to this?
Perfect. Actually, I can't seem to make the slide go, but we'll pull the PDF over here and that'll work just as well. So
there you go. And just so everybody knows, at the end of today's marketplace, yes, you got to stay till the end. I'm not asking you to stay for 4 hours. I'm asking you to stay till about 8:05 p.m. today. That's less than an hour away. I'm going to tell you where you can get all the information about what we're going to be speaking about today. All 4 opportunities. You're going to be able to get all of the information. If I can give my guys and gals some advice, get the music of the investment today, understand what we're talking about, and then you're going to have an opportunity to sit down and speak with Clint and his team in detail. He'll go over this. He's dealt with a lot of our clients. He'll take the time to really explain this. Go ahead, Clint.
Excellent. And maybe just before I continue, if I could make sure our lawyers get paid here, Jazz. I want
Go ahead.
That everyone's well aware. In my world, we take securities very seriously. So, past performance that we're going to talk about tonight is not necessarily indicative of future results. And, the comments and feedback that I provide today isn't necessarily that of Centurion and my dealership Access Capital. And at the end of the day, the bottom line is make sure that you consult with proper professionals, whether it's a lawyer, an accountant, or in this case, a registered dealing representative, and you get the offering memorandum and all your questions answered about time horizons, liquidity, risks, and so forth. So going back to Centurion and how they've done today. Well, briefly, you can see their history right here, folks. 18 plus years in business, almost 300 employees, head office out of Ontario, assets right across Canada and into the US, managing about 4.25 billion in this specific apartment REIT. But I will let you know that by the end of Q1 2022, we do expect to have 5 billion in assets and 16 to 17,000 units in this REIT. That's within about 75 days, folks. So pretty quick. I'm going to fast forward a bit to answer your question here as it relates to returns, Jazz, if you don't mind. So
Please do.
yeah, they've done very well, needless to say. I think this here slide speaks volumes. So since inception, we've averaged just shy of 13% compounded annually. For those of you that know the rule of 72, you take your rate of return, divide it by 72, and that tells you how many years it would have taken you to double your money. So in this case, we've more than doubled our investors' money every 6 years. So fantastic. But I do want to point out, we're not trying to hit for the fences here. We're looking for consistent, steady cash flow with growth on top of that. So targeting around that 4.25 per annum paid monthly, and then another 4 to 8% in growth reflected from mortgage pay down, rental increases, and the appreciation of the net asset value. So we target 7 to 12, and we happen to have done very well over the last number of years since 2009. And as a matter of fact, if I could, I would love to speak to 2020 and 21, Jazz.
Yes, we got a couple of more minutes. I want you to go over that, my friend.
Excellent. So needless to say, the global pandemic scared everybody, especially on the onset. So in 2020, I'm quite happy to say that Centurion returned a positive 7.93% for the year between the income and growth. Compare that to the MSCI Private REIT Index, which produced about 5.75, and then compare that once again to the S&P TSX Capped REIT Index, which in 2020 was negative 13.1%. So there is quite a difference between private and public. And in the case of 2020, S&P TSX Capped versus Centurion, 20% difference. 2021, we just got the numbers the other day, and for 2021, we averaged 11.27% per annum, again with just over 4% being paid per annum monthly, and the rest in growth on the net asset value. So
I do have a question for you, Clint. Is how long is this investment for? Like, can I invest and pull out in a year? Is my money tied up for 5 years? What's the answer to that?
Yeah, excellent question. So for many of the investors here today, what we would request is a commitment for a full 5 years. The reason we do that is because all these numbers I'm talking about today are net of fees. You as an investor are not paying me. I am paid by the issuer. But the trade-off is that if you decided to pull out before the end of 5 years, there would be a small penalty, again, because I needed to put food on the table. Having said that, a great thing about Centurion is they've never refused a redemption request. So if you wake up a year, 2, 3 years from now and you decide you want to run away and have some fun in Brazil, hey, you let me know and we will go and give redemption notice. 30 days of liquidity, and you will have 100% of your money back, plus whatever profit is there from the growth.
Okay, Clint, before I let you go, only because I promised my viewers today that I'm going to try to keep it down to 15 minutes per investment opportunity. I gotta ask, and my loyal community knows that my father being a taxi driver, my mother being a factory worker, coming from the great state of Punjab in India, we're very, very ultra conservative. So I gotta ask the question, what are the 1 or 2 risks that my investors need to be aware of with investing into a real estate investment trust?
Yeah, great question. I mean, obviously there's always going to be management risk. These are real people running real businesses with real challenges like COVID. So really what we look for is, how have they done in the past? Do they have an independent board of advisors? So in the case of Centurion, we've got 7 board members and 4 of them are independent. So a majority independent. So that way it's not just about the management running around thinking they can do whatever they want, because no, there's lawyers, accountants, real estate professionals that are putting their reputation on the line for minimal fee in order to make sure that Greg Romont, in this case, the CEO, does the right thing. On top of that, time and liquidity are the two biggest risks. You're going to trade the ability to push a button and trade out instantaneously from, say, that publicly traded stock for, say, 30 days plus liquidity. But in return, time and liquidity also are the two biggest advantages. What I mean by that is by trading out the ability to push a button, you can reduce or eliminate volatility, as we've seen in their performance chart, and we can increase alpha, as we've seen overall to date. So again, well-rounded portfolio, well worth taking a look at.
Clint, I very much appreciate your time, your knowledge, your expertise, and most importantly, your experience. I know how long you've been doing this. For everyone who's watching right now, I will let you know where you can get more information. And as long as you go to the site that I let you know, that where you're going to be able to put up your hand, my team will introduce you to all investment opportunities that we're going to be discussing today. Once again, Clint, thank you so much for joining me at the REC Investors Marketplace.
Jazz, thank you to everyone at Rec Canada and everyone on the line for educating yourself this evening. Have a great night, and I look forward to talking further.
Awesome. Thanks, Clint. Stephen, I'm excited. I'm excited because that was the first stall, for a lack of a better word, in the investor marketplace that we stopped off and heard from. We're going to move to our next type of investment property / strategy. I am so excited to bring this strategy to the REC Nation because it's something that we have been working with and working on for over a decade. We stopped doing it for a couple of years because we just couldn't find a team that would service our clients and be extensions of ourselves, meaning providing white glove service. There's a massive sign to the right of me here in my studio that says removing friction. It's on purpose that it's right here beside me to remind myself and the rest of the team that our job here at REC Canada for our clients is to make it as easy as possible for you to get into investing into real estate, because there's a lot of different opportunities, there's a lot of different strategies. And so the marketplace was designed specifically with you in mind. What do I mean by that? Well, we wanted to bring different type of strategies in a very fast-paced environment like today, because we're going to do all this within an hour and 15 minutes max. And how do we make it as easy as possible? Well, we get in touch with service providers, business partners, people that we trust, guys and girls that we've done the due diligence on. We vet out the opportunities and then bring them to you, so then you can make an informed and quality decision. So I'm very excited, as I mentioned, to be bringing on Jeff Bellinger from Home Ownership Soon, HOS, and we're going to be speaking about what some will call an RTO, which stands for rent to own, and how as you as an investor can help provide homes for some people that just can't get into actually owning a home right now, hence their company name, Home Ownership Soon, and how you could do it in a passive way and make it a very win-win situation. Win-win for you as the investor, also a win-win for the tenant that will actually be purchasing this property with you. Jeff, how you doing today?
Good, my man. How are you? It's good to see you. I love this energy. Holy smokes.
Well, I appreciate it. I think it was the DNA. It was my father, mother, the day they did what they did. Anyways, I'm not going to go into that. That's a different type of marketplace. We're not going to talk about that. Today, we're going to be speaking about how someone can actually get into a rent to own deal. I know how busy you've been, brother. Like, what's been going on? What's been happening in your life?
Oh my God. Where to begin? Not only do I have to run HOS Financial, we're the largest facilitator of rent own in the country, right? I've also been working on my own trust, LPGP, right? So that we can start funding deals faster, because the demand for rent to own is going through the roof. And why? I'm going to shout out to the federal government, all that pressure that they put on. So I got two other things that I'm working on. One, CAROP. If you don't know, there's an association. CAROP is the Canadian Association of Rent-to-Own Professionals. It's a group of like-minded individuals looking to put some ethical boundaries and be the voice of rent-to-own. Well, now I'm the external VP of External Affairs, and now they put me in charge of running a coalition going into the government, to CMHC, to the Department of Finance, to the Department of Housing, and working with them to put some structure around the new federally funded rent-to-own program. So, and you know what's interesting?
Congratulations on all that's going on, my friend. From a high level, for starters, the 30,000 foot view, if you don't mind discussing. Some people might have heard rent to own. Some people call it LTO, lease to own. Essentially, it's the same thing. Talk to my guys and gals about how does a rent to own deal actually work? And then we're going to go into a case study live today of an opportunity that we have for our investors, and we have about another 12 to 14 like that, but everybody needs to wait right till the end of today's marketplace to find out more information. So give me that high level, that 30,000 foot view about what a rent to own is.
Yeah, so let's keep it really simple for the people who don't understand the rent to own. It's basically a purchase that you hold of a property, you own title for it, and you've made a contract with your tenant to let them buy the property at a future date, at a future set price. Now, the key is that in the beginning, these clients give a much higher security than the typical buy and hold. We're talking somewhere between 5 and upwards of 20% of the initial purchase price. Our cash flows are very high because on top of the typical rent that they're going to pay, they're also going to be saving up for their down payment in the future. So creates additional cash flow, right? So the combination of the two things together at the end, we're going to sell this property predefined. It's already the exit strategies in place for this client to buy it.
Well, now that's what I've always loved about a rent to own opportunity, that for somebody who doesn't want to be tied into an investment for a long time, doesn't really want to deal with the tenants and the toilets, because I know like my REC Nation, if they move forward with a rent to own with you guys and your team and your crew, you guys are going to be doing all the management, you handle it all. I like the fact that you keep my clients as the investors in the loop and keep them posted with communication, ongoing communication, but they don't need to deal with a tenant wanting to maybe make a change to the property, a toilet breaks. You guys handle that all. You are nationwide. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Absolutely. Yep.
So somebody who's sitting right now in the beautiful city of Vancouver or watching in Toronto, they might be doing a rent to own deal in Halifax. It might be in Alberta. It could be right across the nation. I just wanted to confirm that with you.
Yeah, I look at it this way: is why does geography come into the factor? Why are we limiting ourselves based on our postal code? Right. So yes.
Well, yeah, I think just getting feedback from my nation, it's because, well, how do I deal with the tenant in Halifax? I'm in Toronto, right? Or vice versa. When someone like your team is actually managing it, it makes it a lot more passive, a lot more turnkey. I've also, as I mentioned before I brought you on, I mean, one of my favorite things about a rent to own investment is the fact that like I'm helping and providing homes for people that generally wouldn't be able to do it right now. Like they wouldn't even have the ability in certain areas, in certain markets. I mean, Toronto and Vancouver, not to pick on those two, but like it's tough as a first-time home buyer, right? I mean, values have gone up so much, you really can't get in. You need someone to kind of be an act. And you as an investor, for everybody who's watching right now, you're going to be acting like a joint venture partner almost, right? Like you're almost acting, I should say, as a joint venture partner and the bank. It's a very interesting way to get into an investment in real estate. So why don't we actually talk about a specific case study that exists right now? And for everybody who's watching, we have about another 12 to 13. We're starting to move towards, in the marketplace today, we're moving towards some time-sensitive opportunities. That's why I always point to the ready, fire, aim. You need to take action. I'm going to let you know how to do that at the end. But go ahead, Jeff, take the stage, brother, and talk about this specific opportunity that we have and the 12 to 13 that we have like it.
Yeah. So the most important thing to remember about a rent to own strategy is we're talking about people who can't get funding from the traditional banks, right? So, they typically have bruised credits. And I'll be honest, every single client has a story. We all have lives that we've lived. We've made mistakes. People with bad credit, I joke about how credit scores, they're like baseball scores. When we start, they're perfect. We're batting 1,000 until that first at bat where we strike out. So your score is only really affected if you make mistakes, right? So a lot of clients have problems. They've made bad decisions. It could be marriage breakups. It could be illnesses in a family, a death with a couple, whatever it might be. So there are life stories that bring clients to us, and they're not going to get a traditional loan. They're not going to get a traditional mortgage. They only have 5% down. They're maybe new to the country. That's such a common one with immigration being so high and so well accepted in Canada. So all of these factors are what bring clients to us. Okay. So everyone has their unique story. I know that when investors are looking at it, social responsibility is a big part of what I look for in investing. It's a big part of my investment portfolio myself. But you know what, when it comes down to it, I want the numbers, right? I want to see the numbers, right? I try to remove myself from the passionate side of the story so that I don't get caught up in the emotional side of someone's past. And I focus
totally
on the
agree,
numbers.
Right? As an investor, I mean, you want to take out the emotion as much as you possibly can. Don't make the numbers work. Look at the numbers. If it makes sense, that's when you take action. And the nice thing with real estate, in pretty much all the opportunities, in fact, in all the opportunities that we're going to be speaking about today, the nice thing is with real estate, the values, yes, they go up and then they sometimes go down, but they go up and down upwards. And as long as you hold on to it, you know that you're going to end up winning. Let's jump into those numbers right now, Jeff.
Let me just share my screen here. Hopefully you can see that okay. Quick little REC marketplace offering. We refer to it as an ING Ajax. It's an Ajax couple, a little family that's looking to get into the marketplace. And just to kind of set the stage, is really a 4-step process. We're looking at about a 22.71% average annual return. It's important to understand that that's the average annual return because how we get paid and how investors make money. We make money by appreciation. We make money by cash flow. We make money by pay down on the capital, right? All of those things come into play, but the average annual return is about 22.71% on this particular example. We do target every deal to be pretty balanced around somewhere between 20 to 26% return without fail. All right. 4-step process. Initiate is all about the setup of the client and the relationship building up front with the client and the tenant. Then we're going to purchase a property. We're going to manage the property. Then we're going to sell the property. It's really that simple. Okay. But the devil's in the detail, right? So let's start off with a quick little look at the first set of numbers. So first of all, understand what HOS Financial, who I'm the director, one of the managing directors and principals of, we're going to vet the client. Proper due diligence is pinnacle to this process. All right. Make sure we know the client, make sure we understand their numbers, make sure we validated all the income and expenses and budgets and credit score and so forth. We'll provide that due diligence at a certain point in the process. When you've selected a file, you'll get the details. You'll get to know the client. You'll see their credit score, their credit profile, and we'll really break it down for you, what their monthly budgets and so far. Core values come into play here. Affordability and exit. 2 things that we will never, ever compromise on. Okay. If you affect the exit strategy, why'd you put them in it in the first place? We're socially responsible investors. Got to look for that exit strategy. And on the affordability side, what good is it to overcharge the client, right? They're not going to make the payment, right? So it's a very important part is to look for balance. It's probably the most complicated part of this job is to find balance between, I'm in this category, the sometimes high expectations of high returns, but balancing that with uncompromised compassion for that family and their affordability. We don't want them to be house poor, right? We want them to be able to live. So there's a path to home ownership that every single client is engaged in. And this path to home ownership is basically a program to help monitor and mentor them, sometimes starting with simple financial literacy, going all the way up to how do they improve their credit? Because ultimately getting that credit profile to the right level helps them get out of the rent to own and into home ownership. We need our investors to be able to qualify for mortgages. So capacity becomes a big deal, right? So the investor will actually hold title and so forth. We'll get into that in a second. This is a 3-year term and it's a $650,000 purchase. Again, like we said, in Ajax. So it's
Really quickly, Jeff,
condominium.
really quickly. I just wanted to say and want to make sure everybody caught that. This would be a 3-year term as an investor. The purchase price is the $650,000. This is in Ajax, and it's going to be a 3-year term. I always like to confirm that. Go ahead, Jeff.
Absolutely, that's correct. So once we actually do that purchase, the investor's on title. It'll be the investor's mortgage. The investor is bringing the equity to close the transaction, and your closing costs are about $142,000 for this deal. Now, the client, unlike a typical buy and hold where you get first and last month's rent, this client's bringing about $32,000 as their security, not first and last month's rent. Okay. Then the net investment with HOS fees all worked in there. We're paid as a facilitator, right? The net investment's $124,000. Okay.
So the client, when they're bringing in that $32,000, the tenant, when the tenant's coming with that client security, 5%, the $32,500, that goes to the investor, and the investor holds that in an account. How does that aspect of it work?
Yeah, you know what? There's a lot of controversy about whether or not it has to be held in trust. Our contract are designed so it does not need to be held in trust. And it is a credit on closing. So the two lawyers will get the ledgers, work on the ledgers to show it as an actual credit on closing. It's the down payment. Okay. So it does not need to be held in trust. That's what really kind of lowers the net investment and raises the ROI. Is
fantastic.
Right. Okay.
Fantastic. Now the tenant
next stage
continues to.
Yep.
Yeah. I was going to start to say the tenant continues to pay the investor, the mortgage payment. Essentially, you'll work through all the numbers.
Yeah. Let's look at that right now. Managing it side of it is obviously they have to pay a rent, right? So we call that the base lease. The monthly client will pay $3,036 in this transaction for the monthly rent. Now, remember, we're working them up based on their credit profile to a certain level of an exit and a loan to value. These clients have agreed to add a little bit more skin into the game on a monthly basis to get their exit strategy in a little better place. So $1,110 in monthly savings will be paid. Okay. There's condo fees. So they're going to pay the condo fees as well, right? HOS will take care of the rent collection. We'll manage the tenant. The cash on cash in this case is about 14% of that net investment. Anybody else have a buy and hold that's bringing in $1,451 a month? That's incredible cash flow, right?
That's after all the expenses, the monthly cash flow. I want to make sure everybody caught it, because I know sometimes I speak fast and they might think you're speaking fast. They might not have caught it. After all the expenses, the investor will be making $1,400, a little over $1,400 of net cash flow, positive per month. Absolutely awesome. Okay. Now, only because from the sake of time's perspective, Jeff, what happens after the 3 years? So the tenant keeps on paying, the investor gets what happens at the end of the 3 years?
All right. So first of all, the client's not going through this program alone. They're on our path to home ownership. So they're working with our mortgage agents and our affiliates and our financial planners and so forth to prepare them for the exit. So usually about 6 months before, we're already working on the final stages of who they're going to get their mortgage from. They'll buy it at the end at the predefined exit price. Okay. And a full pro forma will be available to all of the investors who are interested in this type of, so we'll share with you the full set of numbers on this. But the investor will then sell the property, recognize the final exit profit, about $32,500. And that gives you the $22,700. I like to summarize it up, right? Summarize it, right? Throw a little sticky note on there. I got them all over my computer screen, this one here. So year one, 17 grand. Year two, 17 grand. Years 3, 17 grand. But then you exit with another 32.5. You've made $84,000 over top of your net investment. It works out to be 22.71% a year.
I love that. I mean, look, if you're
Simple.
seeing 22% year over year return, I mean, in my opinion, while it's being managed for you,
Yeah,
while
absolutely.
HOS is handling all things when it comes to property management, and you're seeing that return, it's not a matter of if you should do it, it's a matter of when. And we not only have one property for you for a rent to own, but we have about 12 to 13, correct me if I'm wrong, Jeff, but we have about 12 to 13 properties like this, investment opportunities for you to get into today, tomorrow. You're going to be able to put up your hand today once I finish the rest of the marketplace. Jeff, thank you so much for your time. I know how busy you are, my man.
Great to see you again. Thanks to all of those participants. It's wonderful to see that you have the charisma to draw this crowd. It's great.
I got to keep you around in my pocket. You're real good for my ego, Jeff. Thank you.
Yeah, if not anything else. All right. It was
Thank you
great
so
to
much.
see everybody. Thanks again.
All right. We are halfway through the marketplace. Guys, please let me know in the comments. Let my team know. What do you think about the marketplace? How do you like this type of style? As I mentioned, back in October of 2021, $73 million was initiated at our first ever marketplace back in October, with a little over 1,100 people registered for today's event. I know that number is going to be a lot bigger than the 73 million, because I know who is watching and listening today, a bunch of action takers. And that means you're going to put up your hand. You're going to go to the place I tell you to go to at the end of the marketplace, and you're going to take action. Because as I mentioned, as we move along in the marketplace, the opportunities become more and more time sensitive. You can tell we started off, if you just joined us, with Clint Rogers from Access Capital speaking about a real estate investment trust. Not as time sensitive as with the opportunity with Jeff Bellinger. We only have 12 to 13 of those. Now moving towards a pre-construction condo opportunity, which I'm going to say probably 50% of our 10,000 REC insiders that we've been cultivating for 17 years. Over that 17 years, 50% of them have done some type of pre-construction condo with us. I'm very, very grateful for the trust, the loyalty, and all the support. But today's opportunity here in Hamilton, I'm going to be bringing on none other than Hunter Milbourne, Mr. Dean of Condos, who owns a little over 25%, 27% of the market share when it comes to pre-construction condos. So grateful to call him a friend and actually be bringing you approximately 15 to 18 units. If we kidnap him virtually long enough, maybe we can get a few more units out of him and his team. Bring on Mr. Hunter Milbourne. I think I still see Jeff here. So I know there's a little problem just from a technical perspective bringing on Hunter, but I got my thumbs up from Stephen Rochester. Hunter, how are you doing today?
Pretty good, Jez. Thanks very much.
I know how busy you are. I know how busy you are because you're not at home. You're not at the office, I don't believe, but you still, when I made the phone call, you said, Jazz, I'm more than happy to be joining you today on today's marketplace. Hunter, we've been doing this now for a little over a decade, bringing exclusive opportunities to our community. And today's opportunity, I'm very excited about Hamilton. Please talk to me about Radio Arts and why you think this is one of the best projects of 2022.
Yeah, listen, I think the Radio Arts building is going to be very popular and very productive in appreciation over the next few years for a number of reasons. Number one is, just because of Hamilton itself. Hamilton is a 600,000 person city. It's got restaurants, it's got art, it's got culture. It's really not a suburb. It's a distinct city, but it's not that far away from GTA. And with the prices in Yorkville and downtown escalating very quickly and rapidly, it's actually it's like drive to qualify in a way. It's affordable. And the other thing with respect to location, as you and I were chatting the other day, I mean, people know Toronto maybe better than they know Hamilton, and Yonge and Bloor is kind of the epicenter of the city where the subways cross. Hamilton is about to get an LRT that goes east-west along King Street. So King and James is the Yonge and Bloor of Hamilton. And this particular site is halfway between James and King. So it's basically almost equidistant to two of the new LRT stops. It's near a little area called Hess Village, walking distance a block or so, which is sort of like the Yorkville of Hamilton. So it's very, very strategically located, probably a 2-minute walk to City Hall. It's really, really a very, very well located, in our old saying, location, location, location. But it's also a boutique building. It's 122 suites, 15 stories. So it's big enough, it has some scale, but it's not so big that it's, a big tower. And I think that's going to be a very popular thing as well. The other thing is, when we were designing it, we designed the suite sizes so that there are a few studios, 1 bedroom and dens, 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, but about 75% of the suites are under $589.9, which is, very affordable in the GTA area today.
Well, really quickly, you said 75% of the building, the 170 odd units, it's priced under $589,900. Guys, I will be bringing some more projects out in the rest of the year of 2022. But I can tell you, and there's going to be another 3 to 4 projects from a pre-construction project perspective that I'll be bringing through marketplaces or some type of event. However, I do not believe that you're going to have a 5 in any of those projects, meaning we're not going to see something that still has $500,000. Now, Hunter, you've been doing this a lot longer than I have, and I don't mean to age you by any means, my friend, but a couple of things. Number one, what have you noticed over the decades that you've been in this industry? I mean, you are the dean of condos. What have you noticed happens to values when you buy in and around transit?
Well, listen, I think part of it is supply. I mean, in the GTA, over the last 10 or 15 years, 45% of all the new product that's created has been within 500 meters of a transit stop, either an LRT or a subway, not bus, but just, something rapid transit. So I think that tells you where developers who are very sophisticated, they're picking those kind of locations, and those are the ones that appreciate the quickest, because with cars getting more expensive, parking getting more expensive, gas getting more expensive, and self-driving cars on the horizon, parking is becoming less of an issue. So a lot of these buildings, like this particular building, out of 122 suites, I believe there's around 30 parking spots. So and the larger suites will probably buy those parking spots. So it's not as critical as it once was, especially, and also this LRT goes from the east end of Hamilton right to McMaster University. So it's a short trip to the west end where the university is.
Now, which, when you talk about location, for me, it really determines not only what's going to happen with values, but as an investor, and I hope most people who are watching are going to be using the buy and hold strategy. Buy it, hold it. I mean, that's why you're going to create some massive wealth. And we here at REC are going to offer a 1-year tenant placement when it comes to actually placing a tenant for the first year at no cost. We only do that for locations that we truly believe in. But when Hunter mentions how close you are to Hess Village and the transit and McMaster, that all comes. Why that's important is because the tenants are going to be your customers, and we want readily available customers with any business, and real estate is no different in that sense. One part of our due diligence, Hunter, that we always like to look at when we bring a project to our clients is the builder. Who's doing this and what their reputations are. Can you just touch on the builder for me for a couple of minutes, please?
Yeah, the builder is a joint venture between 2 companies, one called Kenlight, which is a 40-year-old company, another called North Star, which is a 35-year-old company. So the principals are a guy named Vernon Shaw and Gary Silver. And Vernon already renovated the Pickett building in Hamilton, which was one of the older office buildings. I should also, before I forget, give everyone the address so that if they want to Google it, they'll actually figure out what a great location it is. It's 206 King Street West. So it's basically walking distance to most of the big office buildings in terms of so you don't even need the LRT to get to work in terms of where most of the employment is.
Now, Hunter, the reason we like to partner up with you is I mentioned it just before I brought you on. I mean, you just have a majority of the market share here in not only our city, not only in the province, in the country, and really on the continent. I mean, guys, like, he's not going to say this, but I can say it. I mean, this is like the top person, the top company when it comes to pre-construction condos. It's why REC Canada has had such a long-standing relationship with Melbourne real estate. We're very, very lucky to be doing a lot of business together over a very long period of time. I mention all that because, Hunter, please talk to my guys and gals about the importance of getting in early as an investor.
So when you say early, are you talking about early in the project or early in life?
Well, I think a little bit of both, but definitely early on in the project.
Because, if a lot of times people will say to me, well, what do you think the biggest mistake investors make or first-time buyers make? And I think it's just waiting too long to buy because, there's an old saying, you can't outsave real estate, right? You're better to just buy something, buy what you can afford and get on the ladder, right?
So true. Now, the importance of buying very early on in the process of new build. I mean, that's something that the guys and gals that have done this with us in the past, they know that the builder at times will allocate units at different times, but then increase the pricing. And so today, at the end of this marketplace, and we're only one opportunity away for Radio Art specifically in Hamilton, you are going to be able to put in a reservation form. It's first come, first serve. You're going to let us know if you're more interested in a one bedroom plus then 2 bedrooms. Guys, it's so early in the process. We're about a week to 10 days away. It's so early in the process. I don't even have full pricing for you, but as Hunter mentioned, 75% of the building is less than $589, and all pre-construction condo investing, the 20% down that you need to put as an investor is done over a 2 to 3 year period. So you can put it in as installments, not the full 20% is due all at once. All the boxes are checked off: location, builder, the incentives, meaning getting in very, very early. So as the builder increases the pricing, but the fact that we need a right to assign, because life happens. You're going to buy something today for something that's going to be built. How far is this project out estimated, Hunter?
Yeah, it's probably about a 30-month delivery, right?
There you go. So about a 30-month delivery. You're going to be buying something today, 30 months out. Life happens. So you need to have the right to assign, which means that you can take the paper and flip it. A lot of people do it for profit. I like to have it as a security blanket. And then you're going to have the incentives of cap development charges, along with the exclusive incentive from REC Canada, where we help you actually place the tenant. That's how much we believe in the location. Hunter, with your years and decades of experience, my friend, thank you for keeping this tight. I know how busy you are. Did you want to leave my guys and gals with, that one piece of advice? I know you touched on buying very early, but I like to keep you and virtually kidnap you as long as possible, because I know you'll give me more units, but go on.
I think one thing that is relevant. I mean, when you talked about getting in early, I wanted to just, do it in life, but also in the building, because if you think of location, the obvious part is where's the building, 206 King Street West, Hamilton. But, if you get first pick, I mean, which suite would you rather end up with? The second floor suite that's above the garbage room and the moving access, or a top corner? So, one of the reasons why we like to deal with REC, and we have, is that, they give us volume, and they give it to us cleanly and simply and early. So, I mean, most of the business that we've done over the years has been at the opening day prices in that first 20 or 30 or 40% of the building, right? So there's a location story within the building, not just where the building is, right?
I couldn't agree with you more.
So that's a good reason to get in early, right?
And today you're going to have that opportunity. As I mentioned, you're not going to have floor plans and pricing, but by putting in a reservation form. It's first come, first serve. Guys, gals, I mean, we have a little over 1,100 people. I've said it a few times, registered for today's event. If I send out this video to my 10,000 people, I mean, we're going to get a lot more reservation forms. So I'm going to make sure that once I give you the website to go to and get all the information, that you put in a reservation form on the Radio Arts Project. Hunter, I didn't even say, and I apologize. I mean, Happy New Year to you and yours. And thank you so much for staying so loyal to REC Canada.
Yeah, always a pleasure. Thanks, Jess.
Thanks. Take care, Hunter.
Take care. Bye-bye.
All right, guys, we got one more opportunity before we're finished today's investor marketplace. I told you I'm going to try to keep it under 8:15. I'm going to go slightly over. So if you needed to go to the bathroom or get a drink, you got to wait. You got to wait 15 more minutes. I'm going to be bringing on, we're going to take a quick virtual flight to go see my friend Dawood up in Orlando, in Orlando, Florida, to talk about another new build opportunity. It's for townhomes. We're going to be getting into this. However, it's a slightly different than the one that we just spoke about in Hamilton. And so, Dawood, if you're there, say hi to us, buddy.
What's going on, Jeff?
How you doing, my man? Nice to see that beautiful smiling face of yours. You and I do a lot of content together. I mean, you have a radio show in Orlando. I got the podcast, and we're always doing stuff on Instagram. I've personally bought in this project already. My brother has, as well as his brother-in-law has. And I say that to people because, look, I mean, I'm going to do the same thing in Radio Arts, myself and my partner, Simos. We do try to get our clients the opportunities first because there's such a limited supply. I mean, Hunter just mentioned 120 odd units, and we got our fingers crossed that we're going to get 15 to 20 of them because these things go very quickly. Now, Dawood, let's talk about what's happening in the Orlando market, brother.
Okay, can I share my screen?
Yes, you can.
Here we go.
There we go. Let's do this.
One of the main things that makes Orlando so attractive is that in 2019, we had over 78 million tourists that visited, making Orlando the #1 visited city in all of the United States. It was we have the second largest convention center in the United States. And of course, we're the #1 global destination. We thought COVID was going to really affect us in a horrible way. And as a matter of fact, it only helped us out. Because unlike most places in the world, and I hate to rub this in, you guys are still in lockdown.
Yeah, hey, buddy, hey. I like how you said you didn't want to rub it in, but you still rubbed it in. Thanks.
Well, I mean, I don't know. The picture behind me doesn't really help either, but...
yeah, continue. Go on.
So anyway, we were only in lockdown for approximately 6 weeks. With that being the case, in June of 2020, the governor said that it was okay for us to actually open up our short-term vacation rental properties. And of course, the CDC warned that it's safer to stay in a short-term vacation rental than it was to stay in a hotel. And as a result of that, more and more of these vacation rental properties just started to get rented out like crazy. As a result of that, when the CEO of Airbnb says, we're going to need 1 million more homes to meet the surging demand, what ended up happening as of March 2021 is that the short-term vacation rental market started to get occupied by as much as 86 to 99%. As a matter of fact, we have guests from Canada that came to visit right after November 8th and started to flood our market in the best way possible. There's people that came to stay and visit during the Christmas break, and they're still here. Everywhere you drive, you see license plate from Ontario, from Quebec, and it's rampant. And of course, the stricter that the lockdowns get, the more Canadians are telling themselves, you know what, we might as well just go down to Florida and either rent a place down there for about a month if we can work from home, or better yet, just let's buy a vacation property, because this model affords you the opportunity to do two things. The ability to come to the #1 most visited destination. July 4th, we were the busiest city in the whole country. And more importantly, you get the opportunity to be close to all the attractions. We're 2 exits away from Disney. We're less than 20 minutes away from Universal and SeaWorld. And of course, we're just minutes away from the best outlet malls possibly in the United States. in terms of how busy they are. And you're about an hour from each side of the coast as well, too. These types of properties allow you the opportunity to own one of 126 townhouse. The only sad news that I have for you is we're only down to the last 11 units. So for those of you who are interested, we have an inventory problem just like you guys do in Canada, except we're holding a little bit of inventory, and we've held out on this last little bit for the REC insiders in particular. We have 3 bedrooms, and now 6 bedrooms are the only 2 categories that we have left. Every single 3 bedroom comes with its very own private jacuzzi, and every 6 bedroom comes with its very own private swimming pool. You have your own clubhouse. You can use this property as little or as much as you want. And this is what the project looks like. And of course, you can rent these properties out on a short-term basis. So
now you're gonna sorry to
go
cut you off there, Dawood. Just really quickly, when are these going to be built by?
So the first set of buildings should be coming on by, let's say, the end of spring, beginning of summer, and the project should be completely finished by probably the first quarter of 2023. So a lot faster than you can anticipate here, right?
Now, in terms of, you mentioned the type of townhomes. These are not condos; these are townhomes. 3 bedrooms as well as 6 bedrooms. When you said rent them out for short-term accommodations, but that's something that's done for my clients, right? Like that's all fully managed. You guys are. Can you talk that through, buddy?
Absolutely. As we've always done since the inception of our relationship some 12, 13 years ago, the way that I work with Canadian clients, being Canadian myself, is knowing what Canadians want from start to finish. So we're basically holding your hand from getting you pre-qualified with one of the lenders that we have to work with here that could get you financing with as little as 20-25% down payment. So yes, there is financing available for Canadians. You do not have to go out and purchase cash like you did 10 years ago.
I'm so glad that you mentioned that, right, brother? Yeah. That's why I wanted to have you on, because I forgot to tell everyone that. I mean, you're a dual citizen, right? Like you lived here in Canada for a very long time, Windsor, Ontario, to be specific. Obviously, you took the 3.5-hour drive to see your boy Jazzy.
No. I'm in Toronto for the longest time too. Let's not forget that too.
Yeah, I know. And the biggest hurdle that us as Canadians had in purchasing property in the States was financing, but that's pretty much taken care of. I mean, we have turnkey solutions. As I mentioned, I went through this for this specific project. My brother did, my brother's brother-in-law did. I mentioned that because I want you guys to know again that like we not only vet out these opportunities for everyone at our marketplaces and our brunches and our other launch opportunities, but we actually are investors first and foremost. And so going back to the financing, fully turnkey process, right, Dawood?
So let me ask you a simple question. How smooth was your process when you purchased your unit?
Dawood, I don't even know my unit number, brother. I have no idea because I told you I want one right away because I believe in what's happening in Orlando, very similar to what's happening in kind of Southern Ontario, the Torontos and the Hamiltons and the Londons. And I wanted to get in. I trust you obviously wholeheartedly, but people who are watching right now, they don't know you as much, some of them, but the process was top shelf with yourself, deep, your whole team. It was very, very top shelf and very easy. You removed the friction, man. You made it very easy for me to do business with you.
And that's what we want to do. We're going to assist you with the property management as well too. We're going to assist you with actually getting the furniture. Like you can see here, these are very similar to all the furniture items. All the furniture items are going to be exactly the same. You're going to have one property management company, which is Vacasa. They manage over 30,000 homes. They're the largest property management company in the United States. They just purchased the company that we originally contracted with, which was Turnkey. So now they are the largest property management company. We have all the furniture packages in place. And if you qualify, you could even get financing on the furniture package just right directly from City Furniture, which a lot of the REC insiders are taking advantage of as well too.
Yes. Now I was somewhat shocked because I wasn't aware of how much what is included in the furniture package. You might see the numbers on the screen here for the 3 bedrooms and the 6 bedrooms for the furniture. Guys, this is not the price for the units. The range for the pricing of units is anywhere from, and Dawood, please correct me if I'm wrong, for the 3 bedrooms, what does it start off at?
The 3 bedrooms are $349 and $355 for the corner units, and the 6 bedrooms are $519.
Yeah, and so I was originally shocked to see what the package for the furniture was, but then when you actually get the list of items, like everything is included, right down to the forks, I believe, right? It's all in there, flat screen TVs and the sofas and the beds and the mat, like all of it's in there. It's all done turnkey from Dawood and their team. Again, we talked about the financing really quickly, but Dawood, I mean, even the accounting, the legal process, I have to say, the process was very, very smooth. I really want people to get a good understanding of that. But as Dawood mentioned, there's only 11 units left. They've held on to first day pricing for all of our REC clients. Those 11 units include the 3 bedrooms and the 6 bedrooms. Right. And so to get your hands on one of them, you need to fill out a reservation form. You're not buying just by putting in a reservation form, but it's being time stamped because we work on first come, first served basis. And that's when the team here in Orlando, Dawood, Deep, and the rest of the Orlando, Florida team will be in touch with you to make sure this is the right investment for you. The same thing about Radio Arts in Hamilton. Once you put in a reservation form, that is done in-house here at REC Canada, and you'll be dealing with Laura, Luke, Tyler. You'll be dealing with our core group in our organization. Dawood, is there any parting words that you wanted to leave the viewers with today, brother?
Taking the plunge and purchasing one of these units is going to be as simple as literally putting your name down, giving us your name, addresses, email address, telephone number, driver's license. It's going to take $5,000 to hold the unit. 10% of the purchase price will be due 2 to 3 weeks after the reservation. And then for Jazz's REC insiders, we've broken the second deposit down into 2 parts. So 5%, which is going to be due 45 days after the contract is signed, and then the other 5% 90 days after. We've tried to make this process as simple as possible so that it's very smooth for you guys. There's tons and tons of Canadians that are coming down every week trying to take advantage of this product, simply because when you're not using it, you're getting a positive cash flow, getting that return on income. But more importantly, this type of product is a lot cheaper than a lot of what you can get in a lot of different markets, even here in the United States. And more importantly, you get the return on lifestyle by not only being able to use it whenever you want, but if you're stuck in cold weather or snowy climates like you guys are right now, now would be the time to take advantage of owning a property like this and getting away from that kind of a cold season as well too.
Dawood, are you trying to rub it in again? Because 2 days ago here in Toronto, we had the worst snowstorm since 1947. So I don't know if you did that on purpose again, or you weren't sure. Dawood spoke about the cash flow, guys. The net cash flow on some on the 3 bedrooms upwards to the 6 bedrooms is anywhere from $500 to about $1,500 a month. Positive cash flow, American, and so that obviously works out well for us in terms of exchange. Dawood, thank you so much for your time. I mean, for gracing us with your beautiful, beautiful smile and all your knowledge and expertise. I know how long you've been doing that in Orlando. The team that's worked with you and my clients that have worked with you, the REC insiders that have worked with you in the past have been very, very happy. I'm going to start to let people know where they can get more information about Azure Resorts. That is the project that Dawood was speaking about. Thank you again for your time, brother.
Pleasure. Thank you.
All right. Okay. The time has come. The time has come where you now can go and reserve a unit at Azure Resorts with Dawood, Radio Arts here with REC Canada, the project that I was speaking with with Hunter Milbourne, or talk about rent to own if you wanted to get a little bit more information, as well as hold any one of those 12 to 13 homes that are left for the rent to own strategy. Or we started with Clint Rogers from Access Capital, and we spoke about the Centurion investment, the real estate investment trust that you can use your RRSPs. All you got to do is go to reccanada.com/for sale. That's reccanada.com/for sale. By putting up your hand on what, and the way to do that is put your name, phone number, email, fill out that form that you see at reccanada.com/for sale, check mark just by clicking on any one of the boxes that you want more information on, or you want to put in a reservation form for either Radio Arts in Hamilton or Azure Resorts. If you would like information and want to put in a reservation on those two projects, you can click all four so you get access to every single one of them. I did want to make a note because my team just let me know, for Radio Arts, when you go into what we call the investor portal, you will see a pre-construction masterclass that I did along with our VP, Laura Stewart, talking about how money is made with this strategy. Make sure to go to reccanada.com/for sale to get information on all properties, including the Azure Resorts, the Radio Arts in Hamilton, as well as the rent to own, and you also have access to get information about the real estate investment trust. Tyler is running back and forth from the rooms here, letting me know that we have already, there's some real action takers here at the marketplace. As I mentioned when I started, guys, that all the content that we put out as REC Canada, I put out personally as Jazz Stacker, comes from an educational perspective. We know the more that we educate, the more that we lead with education, hence why we don't really launch or sell anything on our brunches and on the Instagrams of the world, is because we did not want to hide any type of opportunity, a sales opportunity behind education, meaning that today is designed for you to take action to create wealth in real estate. You can tell I didn't spend a lot of time in education because that's what we do on a regular basis. Today, you can start your year off in 2022 in making an investment in one of the four opportunities you saw. You need to ask yourself, why am I wanting to invest into real estate? Because when you get with that answer, when you get to that answer, you then can move towards what type of strategy makes most sense to you. If you're looking for a passive investment, all four of them were that. Because if you're investing into a real estate investment trust, it's a very passive investment. You don't have to deal with tenants or toilets. The rent to own with Jeff Billinger at HOS, they manage it for you. It's a fully turnkey investment and a turnkey process. With Radio Arts, it's a pre-construction condo. It's going to be built out approximately 3 years from now. You're going to put 5% down in year one, maybe a second 5% installment by the end of 2022, a third installment sometime in 2023, and a fourth installment when the building actually gets built in 2024. It's a very passive investment. With the fourth and the final opportunity at Azure Resorts, again, it's fully managed for you. So today's marketplace was designed to bring you four passive investments that are turnkey, not only in the investment perspective, but also in the whole process. What I mean by that is for all four opportunities, there is a team that's going to hold your hand through the process. For the 50% of people that have been watching today, because I saw the people who registered, if you've done a pre-construction condo with us before, you know very well how much Laura Stewart, our VP, will be holding your hand through the 10-day due diligence, along with myself, Simeon, and Tyler, and Luke, making sure that this is the right type of unit that you should be investing into. See, there's not going to be a lot of opportunities that you can buy a unit or a piece of real estate with a 5 in it in Southern Ontario, meaning knowing that 127 units at Radio Arts, where 75% of the building is priced under $589. I remember a time back 11 years ago when I was purchasing condos for $299,000. As the values continued to go up, and I got very loud like I was today, people started to tell me that this can't continue. See, the reason the values are continuing to rise specifically in Ontario is because this is a basic supply and demand issue that we have. We have a lot of people coming into the province, but we don't have enough real estate. Take action today. To the REC Nation, I cannot say it any more blunt. Real estate allows you to take the strategy of ready, fire, aim very seriously. Go and put in a reservation form by tying up a property. Someone on my team from REC here will make sure they reach out to make sure it's the right investment. If you chose Azure Resorts, someone from the Wood and Deeps team in Florida will be giving you a call. But if you're more interested in maybe a predetermined exit strategy, then someone from Jeff Bellinger's team at HOS will be giving you a call. If you're looking for an ultra passive investment, then someone from Clint's team will be giving you a call. But make no mistake, your boy Jazz and your boy Simos and the rest of the REC organization overwatch all processes. We will make sure that we know what is going on, and we're a phone call, email away. If you have any questions at any time about any of the opportunities that were offered to you today, or something else, could be specifically if you're new into our ecosystem, I would implore you to send an email right now to info@reccanada.com. Tyler, if you're watching or listening still, please put in the comments. If anyone has any questions or concerns about today's marketplace or anything else related around real estate, please send an email to info@reccanada.com. I gave a lot of energy today because I'm very passionate about creating wealth in real estate. But as you can see with all the books behind me, with all the knowledge through books and podcasts and YouTube videos, the real power is not in the books. It's in the use of knowledge. See, when people say knowledge is power, they've always been wrong. Without the use of it, it's just potential power. So today, take action, because you can start 2022 off on the right foot. Thank you for joining me in today's REC Investors Marketplace. I look forward to seeing you face to face very soon. Thank you once again.